like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
BTS went live to celebrate the new year a little earlier with ARMY, and honestly, moments like these never lose their magic. No matter how busy life becomes, no matter how much time passes, seeing all 7 of them together in one frame still feels unreal in the best way possible. It's not just a live broadcast, it's a feeling. A familiar warmth that settles quietly in the heart. Seeing BTS together feels like home. There is comfort in their presence. A sense of safety that can't be explained with words alone. It's the kind of comfort that doesn't demand anything from you. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to pretend. You just sit there watching them talk and laugh, and suddenly the world feels a little lighter. That day, they weren't just idols in front of a camera. They were 7 people sharing time with ARMY, greeting the new year not with grand speeches, but with sincerity. Their smiles felt relaxed. Their laughter sounded real. The atmosphere was soft, almost intimate, like a quiet gathering between people who truly know each other. They spoke about the new year with excitement, about hopes, about what lies ahead, about dreams that haven't been spoken out loud yet. And when the topic of the new album came up, there was something different in their tone. Not rushed. Not promotional. Just proud. You could feel how much work they've poured into it. Every word carried effort. Every smile held stories of late nights, endless revisions, moments of doubt, and moments of quiet determination. This wasn't just another album. It felt like something deeply personal, music created not to impress, but to express. Real masterpieces made with passion, honesty, and heart. And as always, while all 7 of them shined together, there were small moments that felt especially soft. Moments that weren't loud, but spoke volumes. Jimin and Jungkook. They weren't sitting next to each other, yet their connection was impossible to ignore. It never relies on distance. It never needs physical closeness to be seen. Their bond exists in timing, in shared reactions, in subtle glances that last just a second too long. There were giggles, quiet, familiar giggles. Inside jokes that only they seemed to fully understand. Jungkook would laugh, then unconsciously look toward Jimin's direction, as if seeking confirmation. Jimin would smile gently, eyes soft, pretending not to notice, though everyone knows he always does. Sometimes Jungkook stared a little too long. And then, as if realizing it, he would look away shyly, just like he always does. That small, unconscious habit never changes. No matter how confident he becomes, there's still that boy who gets shy when his feelings show too clearly. They weren't side by side, and ARMY understood why. If they were, they would have been completely absorbed in each other. Lost in laughter. Lost in soft moments that feel too private for the world to see. Jungkook would lean in without thinking. Jimin would respond instinctively. It's not something they plan, it's something that happens naturally. Some bonds don't need closeness to shine. In fact, distance often makes them even more visible. Because no matter where they sit, their attention gravitates toward each other. Their connection isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, steady, quiet, undeniable. Then the conversation shifted. Christmas. The word came up casually, almost playfully. What? Christmas? How was it? I thought that's good. Yay. Laughter filled the room. The moment felt light, almost carefree. But beneath the laughter, something lingered, something unspoken. And then Namjoon spoke. I wish our company would show us a bit more affection. The atmosphere changed instantly. You know, I don't usually say things like this, he continued calmly, but I wish they would look after us a little more. Those words landed softly, but deeply. Not because they were dramatic. Not because they were angry. But because they were honest. Carefully chosen. Spoken without blame, without bitterness. Just a sincere wish. A quiet hope to be cared for, not as products, not as symbols, but as people. Hearing Namjoon say that during the live was heartbreaking in the gentlest way. He rarely opens up like that. He carries responsibility effortlessly on the surface, always composed, always strong. He's the one guiding the group, protecting them, speaking on behalf of everyone else. So when he allows even a small glimpse of vulnerability, it speaks louder than any emotional outburst ever could. There was sadness in his voice, but not resentment. The kind of sadness that comes from being strong for too long. From holding everything together. From always being the one who reassures others, even when you yourself need reassurance. Moments like this remind us that BTS are human. Behind the fame, the awards, the global recognition, they still feel exhaustion. They still feel overlooked at times. They still need warmth, care, and emotional support. Being loved by millions doesn't replace being looked after by the people closest to you. And in that moment, the other members listened. They didn't interrupt. They didn't dismiss it with jokes. They stayed quiet, present, respectful. That silence said everything. It showed understanding, solidarity, the unspoken promise that none of them are alone in what they feel. This is what makes BTS different. Not perfection, not success, but sincerity, the courage to be honest, the willingness to show vulnerability without turning it into a spectacle, the ability to trust ARMY enough to let them see not just joy, but truth. As the live continued, smiles slowly returned. Laughter filled the space again. The mood lightened, but the meaning of that moment stayed. It lingered quietly, reminding us that behind every happy broadcast, there are real emotions, real struggles, and real people doing their best. By the time the live came to an end, it didn't feel like a goodbye. It felt like reassurance. That they're still here. Still together. Still moving forward, carefully, thoughtfully, and with love. That's it, guys. Hope you like this video. See you next time. Bye-bye. The screen went dark, but the warmth didn't fade. And when the live finally ended, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt full. Full of unspoken emotions, quiet understanding, and a warmth that stayed long after the screen went dark. There were no dramatic goodbyes, no grand promises, just the lingering feeling that something honest had been shared. In that short time, BTS reminded us why we stay. Not because they are flawless. Not because they are untouchable stars. But because they are real. 7 people who laugh, who get tired, who hope, who carry worries they don't always voice. 7 people who continue to walk forward together, even when the road feels heavy. And in between all of that, they still choose to sit down, look at the camera, and spend time with ARMY, sharing not just joy but vulnerability. And somewhere in those quiet moments, between shared glances, soft laughter, and words that were almost whispered, we were reminded of something important. Love doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes, it lives in presence, in honesty, in simply staying. So as the year turns and a new chapter begins, one thing remains certain. BTS is still here, still together, still holding on to each other, and onto ARMY, with the same sincerity that brought us this far.